Chair of Church Council, and I wanted to take a few moments today. First, during our recent set of congregational chats here in the fall, there was a request that church leadership be more transparent, communicate more frequently. I hope you've been seeing that. There's been a series of communications both in the Vine and some other places around where we are with some status between some different finance or trustees type of communications. It's in that light I wanted to come to you today. I have some good news and some not so good news to share. First, the good news. I'd like to report that Asbury has really established a balanced budget for 2019. That was passed in January. If you would be looking at some of the other communication in the Vine, last year, 2018, we were not able to achieve that. We actually had to borrow from some of our invested savings to make that. So I do want to highlight that we did have a balance. We made some changes, but it doesn't come without risk. If you want to see on either the screen, there's roughly $350,000 that we're anticipating from people that have not given pledges. So if you have not yet, it's still not too late. And if you do pledge, it certainly allows our bookkeeping and our understanding of where we're at to be that much more clean. On the second item, that's where we really have some challenges. It's really almost a bad news situation. The capital campaign is off to a good start. I don't want to say $100,000 is not good. It is a good start. But if we see our total goal is $350,000, we're roughly $250,000 short. And frankly, we're lagging where we hoped we would be right now. So I thought it would be very appropriate to talk to you about specifically what is the scope we're looking to cover. So next slide, please. The number one priority is the roof. And I have a little pictorial here. You can see the roof has been divided into many different zones. Not every zone is bad, and we are not looking to replace every zone. The new areas, the Wesley Center, the new wing, that is all good. It's essentially where we're at now. The older areas, if you think behind the sanctuary roof, and some of those areas are in need of repair, and some of them are even as bad as poor. The next slide, please. This really just shows some pictures of what we have up there. We have had several contractors up, which we have bids in hand. We've also have consultants that have been in to help us understand what needs to be done. And the bottom line is it's roughly a $200,000 budget to take that. So if we say, all right, we have that, why is it more now than it may have been in the past? The last time we put a roof on it was very appropriate to simply put a new roof over an old roof. At this point in time, we can no longer do that. We have to remove essentially two roofs to put another one down, as the additional weight would not, or the structure we have would not bear that additional weight. So if you think of removing two layers of roofing and putting a new one down, that's roughly the $200,000 budget that we're talking about. So with that, we're starting to see issues. You can see some of the photos. We've got leaks that are starting to creep into ceiling tiles. On a rainy day, you'll see buckets throughout different parts of this area trying to protect against additional damage. And so that's why this is our number one priority. The number two priority, I'm going to take a little walk. And really, we can't do this first, even though it looks like it might be more severe, because the roof leakage is part of the root cause. I'd invite any of you to come over to this particular wall. We've got space right through here. You can see some discoloration. There's actually duct tape here covering rebar so that there is not a safety issue as we're coming and going through the sanctuary. So both on the inside and the outside, there is damage that needs to be corrected sooner as opposed to later. And I do want to talk about schedule. About these repairs, we really need to get this done in the next year, which really means the summer, probably before next winter, so summer or fall type of a time frame. So with our priorities, one being the roof, priorities two being the sanctuary wall, we have two others. The third area is immediately behind the sanctuary on the retaining wall that's holding the memorial garden in place. As you can see, there are railroad ties that have been used there for really the entire time that we've been here at the church to hold that in place. They're starting to fall down. So we've had, again, several people in. We've got quotes for those to the fix in that, and that is our third priority. And then lastly, there are a series of HVAC units that are quite antiquated, and we're having to replace intermittently as different Sunday school rooms must have heat for the children. So as you can see, there is quite a selection of differing things with varying priorities. Last slide, please. So I do want to come to you and say Asbury's building needs your help. As a church, we are not a building. We are the people. However, this building is a very key tool to the ministries that we do. So with that in mind, we're trying to kick off now a next step to the capital campaign, if you will. There is a pictorial that's currently over the pew as you would leave out to this side of going downstairs. That is an illustration of a roof, and it has just a few shingles on it. We're looking to populate that with shingles of varying dollar amounts. We could do 1,000 shingles at $200, or we could do 500 shingles at $400, whatever the right piece is, but we really need to close that gap as these repairs need to happen in a very short time frame. So I'd ask for you to prayerfully consider a donation, even a little bit more if you have. I want to thank those that have, because I don't want to downplay that, but I would like to encourage some additional response so that we may keep our key piece of ministry up to speed. Thank you very much for this time, and we can field any questions after the service.